the game couldn't be perfect forever, so now we're coming into the more annoying levels. Or at least, well, Act 2 and Press Garden anyways, I wasn't too fond of. Even though they do have fast, exciting sections. But there's a lot of things that irritate me about Act 2. I guess I'll start with the positives. I really like the set piece that it has, where it starts to rain. Like, you think that it's such a minor thing, it doesn't really matter all that much, but it just ends up being freaking badass. The most, like, the coolest thing ever. I guess it's because there's, like right here. I think it's just because, like, there's never really been rain in a Genesis Sonic game. It's not really there. But it makes it epic. Ugh. The momentum carried me too far to the right. And look, now there are suddenly spikes there. And I'm gonna have a hell of a time getting up past them. Because he dropped me. And there... Oh, now he tires out. That's fun. It's like they keep his flight counter going even though you haven't grabbed onto him yet. And that's bullshit because when Tails flies on his own, he can fly infinitely. So yeah, I pretty much had to take a hit there. And all because, I mean, normally this would be a pretty fun section. I love these fans. I love how you go from one to another in a platforming section. But the platforming, the momentum carried me to the right and I just fell off. And they really, really punished you for failing. Like, see, this is cool. Like, not only is it raining, but it's purple. Like a purple alien sky. I love it. But look here. Suddenly, Tails sort of glitches out and I can't fly with him anymore. I don't know if it's a glitch or if they think that because it's raining, it makes sense that Tails suddenly can't carry you anymore. But, yeah. The music is good and the atmosphere is badass, but like this level loves spikes. Loves them. I felt like I was playing Sonic Advance 3 all over again, or Sonic Advance 1. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to tell what you're supposed to do to progress. Like this part, I was totally stuck here. I wasn't really sure what to do. And I kept doing the drop dash by accident. Can I talk about the drop dash finally, since I finally remember it existed? It sucks. I mean, it's good for speedrunning, I guess, but I just do it by accident, and it just screws me over. I wish I could turn it off. I mean, you have options, but not an option for that. Well, I think you have an option to turn on the instant shield later on, and it replaces it, but... Anyways, the problem with the drop dash is it's not very... It's basically just an unintuitive, gimped version of the air dash from Sonic 4. That's literally all it is. It just sends you forwards. Only you have to hold down A while jumping, and I guess up 2 for a little while, and keep up your momentum, and only then will you be able to do the air dash. It's like, it's just an inferior air dash that you can't spam as much, and I guess it requires more skill, but it would be good if there was a meter for the drop dash that told you exactly when you were able to use it. But instead, it's just unintuitive and it always activates when I don't want it to. But yeah, here's finally I went into a Blue Spear stage. So I'm not gonna find any special stages in this video either. Like, they really hide the special stage rings really well in this game, and I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't think they should force you to tediously climb through every single inch of a Sonic level just so that you can find all the emeralds and not get the bad ending. I mean, the point of a Sonic game is to go fast. That's what makes it different from other platformers. It makes it exciting. And the level design isn't really naturally leading you into tediously exploring. God, I hate those cluckers. I hate them so much. Like, they tend to... it's just so easy for them to hit you. They weren't fun in Sonic 2, and I almost got hit by them there. And like these spikes. It felt like the level was naturally leading me to the left, so I went to the left. This level is kind of tedious. I mean, I got stuck here because I got totally disoriented because I went to the bonus stage, and I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do. I thought, is that a switch at the ceiling I have to press? Not sure why it sends me upwards when there's no point in it doing so. What do I do? Where do I go? Not very intuitive. Kind of lost all sense of direction there. Eventually, oh, there is a dash pad that I'm supposed to hit that I didn't notice because it was so tiny and hidden. Why can't the dash pads all be like the ones that pop right out at— that was cheap. Why can't they all be like the ones that pop right out at you the minute you see them, like in the advanced games where they're red and you just instantly see them, and it immediately attacks me the minute I show up on the screen, and then attacks me again. When you get hit twice in a row, it's not fun. And these platforms are way too far apart from each other. Unless you're able to fly, and then I jumped and I immediately got hit by something I couldn't see from below the screen. That's fun. And just like in the original level, you have to hit switches to progress, and I don't really see the point of like having a middleman. Like people complain about the 3D Sonic games make you hit switches to progress, but the 2D ones did that too occasionally, and it wasn't fun there either. And remember what I said, spikes were something the level really loved? Well, this is a prime example. I bet if you made a drinking game out of all the spikes that are in this level, you'd probably die. Like, it just got set right into them. Like, I was at the center of the screen. I couldn't have possibly reacted to them in time. And I'm sure there are crushing hazards before that point too. The trash here kind of reminds me of Robotnik Winter Zone from Sonic Triple Trouble. Like, all you do is just stand there and then you sink through it. I don't think it's as charming as the snow in that game though. Like, it's just the trash of trashed badniks. Why are they even there? I mean, why aren't they out and about trying to attack Sonic? But yeah, I forgot to mention the Phantom Ruby creating illusions thing, and that being applied to this game. It kind of, are all these levels like illusions? Wouldn't that kind of cheapen the experience? Since, oh look, you have a nostalgic reference to your favorite levels, but oh, they're just fake illusions anyways. I mean, if all of these levels are just illusions, then how is Sonic interacting with them? How are they tangible enough for Sonic to interact with them at all? What's really going on then? I don't really know if they know what illusions means. But it is nice that you get to go through all of these levels, I guess. Not really sure how they connect to each other though, since this is supposed to be somewhere up on Angel Island. Before this point was an electricity hazard. It wasn't really as intimidating as I thought it would be though. I kind of like the spike ball being there. Like, it forces you to stop and think and then jump a little further than you'd expect. Every time I saw those yellow wall things, I kept expecting they would bring back the boring boss from Sonic 3 Knuckles, where you just wait. And Sonic 2, of course. Fortunately, they haven't done that yet. But yeah, this boss is pretty unintuitive. I think the only reason I remembered what I was supposed to do with it was because I spoiled the hell out of myself for this game. Because watching videos and brain and stuff. So you have to knock it into the wall, and that's how you damage it. Now, fortunately, you will naturally find out that you're damaging it that way from just jumping into the bumpers. But unfortunately, it crushes you when you jump into the spikes. It can crush you. And that's a problem because it's, by definition, it takes a while to defeat the boss when the only way you can attack it is by knocking it into the walls. I mean, it is satisfying to do that. You can either spin dash jump into it, or you can use the spinning poles. I mean, and the spikes, I mean, you have to have some challenge. The energy balls are kind of annoying too. They're not nearly as challenging to dodge and as satisfying to dodge as the energy balls in the final boss of Knuckles Chaotix, though. They're just kind of a waste of time. This boss has a really weird hitbox. Like, like, sometimes I feel like I just went past the boss and didn't hit it when I should have. It's weird, like, you have to hit the bumper part of it. The Eggmobile part of it is in the background. That doesn't scream classic Sonic to me. It's just like the desert boss of Sonic 4 Episode 2, where Eggman's in the background. And the little girl, it looked like a little girl, didn't it? In the Eggmobile. Fans liked to joke that that was actually not Eggman hanging upside down, but really his niece or something. And, you know, it would have been cool to see that be made a real character, but... Oh yeah, this is where I stopped. This is where I stopped and restarted. But yeah, anyways, the problem is that I would only really appreciate that being made an actual character if they bothered to explain why that little girl would want to ruin the world with Eggman. And I had the misfortune of discovering that fans wouldn't really appreciate them bothering to explain it. They would be like, oh, she has a tragic backstory. That means she's like Shadow and she sucks. So, if the fans aren't gonna care about the character, then neither will I. And speaking of not caring, it's Press Garden Zone. I mean, I like the aesthetic, I like the idea of it, but it's so slow and blocky. I mean, it doesn't really feel like a Sonic level. There are some fast parts, I like that the cylinder thing is here, but then there's blocks! I mean, how is this Sonic like in any way just slowly navigating through blocks? It's like a Sonic Colors level. I like Sonic Colors, but... I mean, and I don't like how sluggishly you move left and right on those spinning things. Like, I have to constantly jump left and right to progress on them. This was a part of the level where I got stuck. The annoying thing about these trampolines is that you bounce on them, but not really all that high. You have to press A the minute you land on them. And that feels kind of pointless, because why can't they be like why can't they be like the ones from Wacky Workbench, where you just land on them and they immediately launch you? Instead, I just got stuck here because it didn't really feel that intuitive, and it was a pain in the ass to get back up. So I ended up backtracking and taking a lower route to skip it. And then I finally got up here, and I thought, well, maybe that was part of the background, but it wasn't. So I was heavily disappointed, and I realized, fuck this. There's gotta be another way to progress with the level. And I tried activating Tails to fly with him to see if maybe there's something up there. I guess I totally forgot that I could, well, even if I could just hold up to look up, but then if there was something up there, I wouldn't be able to go up to it, so I figured kill two birds with one stone. But yeah, like, see, that's a total pace breaker. Why is that there in the middle of a fast section? Like, I like the music for this level, but like I like how colorful it is. It's kind of a little bit busy though in the background, and sometimes the badniks can kind of come out of nowhere. Like, they don't really pop out as much as they could. I don't know. I like those blocks. Like, I really like those blocks. Like, especially with the fact that they add to the platforming, because they're small, so they're harder to land on. And it's really creative that you have to jump up to a cylinder from launch base zone in order to progress for once. But the blocks especially, like, it's good that they have the letters on them, because that seems to be really the only thing press about this place. Like, this is supposed to be a sort of a printing press area. But it doesn't really feel like that at all. I'm not really sure what this place is supposed to be. It feels more like an ancient ruins level. It's certainly nice to look at, though. But I don't see the point of having to hit switches hidden on ceilings and stuff to progress. It's just pace breaking. Sonic has his spinning or jumping on a spring animation from Sonic CD in this game. It makes sense. I mean, ROM hacks really love to use that thing for some reason. See, I like these parts. Like, those are fun. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense because this is basically a fan game. It was made by people who literally made fan games for Sonic until they were hired to make Sonic 1 and 2 remakes. I mean, it's a shame that seems dismissive to call it a fan game when it was technically published by Sega, but it still is a fan game to me, and I don't think that's an insult at all. It can still be a great game, it just happens to also be a fan game. I wonder if... No, I think that might be too negative, but I'm sure there will be plenty of good Sonic games that are also made by Sega, not just fans. But yeah, this was another annoying section of the level. I mean, you can't really jump quite high enough for it. Sometimes I swear it feels like you need to have Tails or be playing as Tails to be able to progress with the game. After beating an act, Sonic does a short hop before doing the traditional index finger waving pose. The hop comes from an early victory pose in pre-release screenshots of Sonic 1 that went unused. Tails' final pose is based on existing artwork of him, while Knuckles' pose is based on either his pose from Sonic 3 Knuckles' title menu, or official artwork of Knuckles Chaotix. I don't know if I'm going to be playing as Knuckles, though. I mean, I never bothered to really beat the game as Knuckles for my Sonic 3 playthrough. Like, even though it had different level design, I tried to play the Knuckles playthrough a little, and it was just frustrating to me. Like, the second act of Angel Island, I kind of stopped there. Like, I played it on the DS, on the Classic Collection, and I thought, nah, I think I've seen enough. I don't know if the Knuckles playthrough is going to be like that in Mania, or if it's just the same thing but with Knuckles. I mean, I know he has a little bit of difference in Large Saloon Zone. But yeah, I'm only going to do one playthrough of this game. I'm not going to do what the good old Brain Scratch crew did and have 3 whole playthroughs. God no. I can barely even have enough commentary for this as it is. But yeah, this boss sucks. Cause look, it's such a tiny window where you're able to safely hit it. It's just completely surrounded by buzzsaws below it. So it looks like it's impossible to damage it without getting hit. I mean, if it acted more like the boss that it reminds me of, I think it was in Launch Base Zone, then it'd be kind of fine because it would move its buzzsaws around it, and so you'd be able to jump into it without jumping into the buzzsaws. But instead, you pretty much have to keep jumping into it and take advantage of invincibility frames, or you're not going to be able to beat it. I think if you didn't have rings, this would be the hardest boss in Sonic history. Sonic's goalpost's eye kind of looks weird when, like, Sonic is in front of it. Like, it kind of looks like, I don't know, like, he has an eyelid that's, like, half closed from below. You get frozen by something that's completely impossible to avoid. Like, look, I'm staying here and I'm waiting to see if maybe the ice shooter will stop shooting, and it doesn't. So basically they completely force you to get frozen, and I think this happens again. This zone is so obsessed with freezing you in an ice block and making you mash the A button annoyingly to get out of it. I mean, this definitely has a prettier aesthetic than the previous act, that's for sure. But I don't get its obsession with constantly putting you in an ice block when it doesn't really improve the gameplay or anything. I think the music is better than in Act 1, though. If you let the opening animation play twice, it'll pointlessly change music and sound effects. Yeah, see, this part is really annoying because it kept bouncing off it when I didn't want to, and I end up falling into the spikes. There's a lot of spikes in this level, too. A lot of the achievement names are actually either references or puns. Puns, like in the early Archie Sonic comics. I wonder if that was intentional. Like no way, which is actually the text that scrolls if Sonic is locked onto Sonic, if Sonic 1 is locked onto Sonic and Knuckles. That title doesn't really tell you what the achievement's for. Neither does, like, Triple Trouble, or the most famous hedgehog in the world. which is actually a reference to the Japanese Sonic 1 box art. And Create Expectations doesn't really tell you what the achievement is for either. I mean, apparently it's based off the name of a famous novel. I'm sure that the achievement tells you what you got it for, so it doesn't really need the title to make sense, I guess. But see, I was pretty annoyed there because the red spring I wanted to go to was blocked off by an ice block and the thing I was standing on, so I had to pretty much ignore it. And I went through all this trouble to get to the extra life, but, you know, if I wasn't cheating, I probably would have been able to benefit from extra life. But instead, I had max lives, so it doesn't really matter all that much. I don't really see the point of having to break through walls to progress. I mean, it just kind of wastes time. And see, the aesthetic of this place is so warm and loving that it's kind of distracting, because those platforms, they didn't look like they would hurt you. I mean, they kind of looked like the projectiles that they were shooting out horizontally from them didn't look like they seemed very hard to notice because they're so tiny, and these platforms, they look so soft and fuzzy. They don't really look like they're gonna hurt you, but then all of a sudden they do. I guess that's the problem with having a level look so pretty and gentle. I mean, it's kind of nice to see a Alien Force snow level. It's pretty nice looking, but it's kind of slow to play. This boss, it just constantly greases you over and over again, and then you have to keep jumping into it and taking advantage of invincibility frames. I mean, at least getting frozen doesn't hurt you, only its sword hurts you. Not really sure you're supposed to consistently dodge the bombs it throws out, though. But yeah, that wasn't a very fun boss to me. It just kind of felt sloppy, I don't know. You shouldn't be able to be constantly frozen over and over again, and there's nothing you can do about it. And yeah, it's Metal Sonic there on the screen, along with the... Is it the Death Egg? Or is it, like, Little Planet? It's roboticized. But yeah, then he sends you to... I guess it's Little Planet. I mean, it has to be. It's Stardust Speedway.